Hey, this is Nicholas with the Backyard TARDIS here with some more adventures in locksmithing, continuing our look at the different forms of law enforcement that I've worked with. This time we're going to talk about the FBI. And in California, if you're doing work with the FBI, it's pretty much going to be some sort of drug bust. Typically going to deal with maybe a large, in my area, a large pot dispensary. Usually what happens, the sheriff will call in the FBI when it's to assist on a bust when it's someone that is running a large pot operation that are not legal by state standards. So it's all not legal by federal standards, but the federal government usually doesn't actively go and seek this stuff out. But if local law enforcement notices a big ring, maybe they're causing problems or whatever, they will go in and call in the FBI. Now, the thing about the FBI is, unlike the sheriff department, which would call me out and they don't break in a door, that kind of thing, the FBI has their own means of covert entering a facility. So they pick the locks. They break in and do all that covert stuff themselves. Usually I'm called in after the fact to secure the area, so that the people can't come back. And we had an example of this out at the airport. There's a lot of giant hangars, and so most of these growers, they get caught by aerial view. They build these really tall fences, have a huge section of property do that. And in this situation, they had just rented out these huge airplane hangars and turned them into growing facilities. Of course, it had been reported by some about the smell, the shipments being loaded and unloaded and leaving. So the FBI had come in. Now I went in there to rekey it, and I'm a weakling when it comes to pot. Secondhand high is something I've always got to watch out for on the job, because just the smell of it affects me. And they opened that door to this warehouse, and it just was giant bags of pot to the ceiling. This huge hangar bay, just full of pot, ready to be shipped out, and they needed it all secured and locked down, and it was all I could do to breathe. I had to go do one lock, then go out, sit by a tree, and then go back. I know I'm a complete weakling when that kind of comes, that kind of thing, but it just always kind of a difference in dealing with them. They kind of handle everything in advance. They do all that. They don't put a civilian involved and all. But then afterwards, they call to have everything secured. So that's kind of always been my dealings with them, and I'm never working directly with them. It is always the landlord's responsibility. So the landlord is legally required to report if someone is doing something like that on their property, where they can be held accountable. And then when a bust like that is done, they're legally required to secure it and then give access for the authorities to dispose of it. So that's kind of one of those things that there's no recourse for the landlord, and it really makes it hard for a landlord who has to sit on this property not making any money doing that, which is why you see a lot of landlords don't report stuff when they see illegal stuff happening on their property, because it only will cost them money. But it's one of those things when you come out there and you see they're very efficient, but they only come when it's a big bust. So anyways, that's just some more of my adventuring in locksmithing. Hope everybody's having a good day.